and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This week's video actually falls on my birthday, so I thought it would be quite a niche opportunity to find out where my passion for cars come from in the first place. We had a power cut a couple of weeks ago now, and we got all the old photos out and noticed how many cool cars my parents have owned. And then what I'm going to do is move on to other photos that I've taken off my dad's camera that I've now got on my laptop to show you guys how it all started, really. So without further ado, let's have a look through these old photos. For all you guys that watch the channel regularly, you'd know that my dad's also into his classic cars, especially classic Fords, and this is where it all began for him. So this is him at age 16 on a Honda MB5 49cc. I don't know a lot about this bike, but he probably does, and he'd be able to tell you a lot more than me. He said he took this photo after someone had nicked the top sort of visor off of it. If you look on that one, it's got it on there, but obviously someone had pinched that off of it. The next batch of photos are my dad's first car, and it was a Mark 1 Escort in this Le Mans green. However, my dad at his young age didn't like the green, so he decided that with his dad, my granddad, he was going to paint it. So yeah, these are just a load of photos. That's it all in primer. The back of some garages. That looks like they're prepping it for the black to go on. And there you go. That's them spraying it there. Yeah, Mark 1 Escort being sprayed in the back of a set of garages. I think they hired that compressor. That looks like it's all pretty much done at that point. And that is a finished result, so it doesn't actually look that bad. That's with all the tape off. Hasn't got the front grille on it. I don't know if he refitted that or what, but yeah, that's it out in the open. That's like a side profile picture of it. What he did have is he had 13-inch wheels on the back and 12-inch at the front, so it's sat up at the back slightly. There you go, yeah, he didn't fit the grille. He put the number plate in where the grille is. But as my dad would tell you, and probably anyone else that grew up around this era, these were just your average cars. They're not what sort of Escorts are today, rare as rocking or shit. Yeah, there we go, that's with an actual plate on it. So that's his first car. Right, so this is my mum. This is not her first car. I don't know how many cars she had before this, but this is just a photo I found in a Mark II Fiesta. I thought this was really cool, but yeah, just a bog standard. I think must have been a 1.1. But yeah, that's me dad putting some wedding tape on it because they used it as their like car to go from their wedding, of the wedding night, if that makes sense. You'll see it in a minute. There you go, just married in a Mark II Fiesta. Now, this photo is when they were on honeymoon in Jersey, and there's nothing sort of out of the ordinary about these cars. It was just a picture of my dad with the hire car. It's a Mark III Fiesta. I mean, even back then that would just be a bog standard car, but now we sort of love them, didn't we? There's a Mark II Fiesta next to it there, and there's other old cars in the background as well. There's my mum with it as well. Now, this is another one of my parents' cars that had a story to it. I don't know why they called it this, but they called it Fringlebert, and they bought it from Enfield car auctions. And apparently, according to what my parents have said, it was a pile of poo. So yeah, I don't think they kept this long, but that's my mum in it. You can barely see her, but yeah, Mark III Escort. This is another car. This was my dad's daily for a little while. This was a minivan. So from what he's told me about this, it used to leak petrol, so it was a very potent smell in the cab, and then they ended up selling this for 70 quid. Imagine that, imagine what that's worth now. But yeah, back then they sold it for 70 quid, that's what they can remember. So at this point, my dad had all of them cars, but this is sort of the forever car, if you want to call it that, Ford 100E. So yeah, proper cool in this like baby blue. I don't know the actual proper term of the colour, But yeah, this was sort of his pride and joy, the one he kept in the garage and polished. But yeah, that's him next to it. Now these next photos are when my dad went down to the Ford factory. It was a Romford to Dagenham run, and there was so many different old school Fords there. So yeah, this is just loads of old Fords. Look at them there, don't know if you can see them properly. Nice little van, proper cool that is, that'd be rare now. Loads of old Fords there. And another set. That's just them all lined up behind his car. Now this is Henry Ford, a statue of him next to a Model T. And I think that's looking over the River Thames. Pretty cool. Now this is just loads of other pictures of his 100E. So I'm standing next to it. Now the eagle-eyed people out there would notice that the reg was fluctuating between this APB and the XSK one in them photos I've just shown. Now this is because the original owner had sold this number plate, which was 9002VX, and then that was put on the 100E. Now what he done is, my dad wanted an age-related plate, so he asked DVLA and they gave him this one to put back on the car. But the only thing with this is you couldn't sell this. That had to stick with the car. That wasn't to his wedding. I don't know why it's got wedding tape on it, obviously for someone else's wedding. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Almost looks like white walls on the tyres, but it's not. It's the wheels that are white, and he's got the sort of chrome dishes that you saw on quite a lot of old Fords back then. It was a pre-crossflow, so yeah, very, very basic. Now this is the house that we live in today. This was when my parents bought it. It was a repossession, so it looks like a pile of poo basically. But there's a Sierra on the driveway, and that's another Sierra, but a Sierra Estate this time, and a Mark II Fiesta. There's a bit of a story about that, I'll tell you that in a minute. Just some more pictures of the Sierra in the snow. Both the Fiesta and Sierra again. There's a little Mini there as well. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Here it is. So this was my dad's daily for a little while, but they took it for its first MOT and it was rotten. Apparently the subframe was rotten, so they had to get rid of that. This is a little picture of me. And I've sort of went through the photos before recording this, and I think I was born around about this time. Some of them don't have dates on the pictures, so it's quite hard to definitely put me in there, but yeah, around this time. Now this is a Mondeo and still the Mark II Fiesta. There we go. This is a picture of the Mark II Fiesta. Now this was bought from my dad's granddad, which would be my great granddad, who was a North London boxer. His name was Lawrence Denny. Pretty cool, bit of history, but I don't think that's still about. I haven't done any reg checks on these, so feel free to do it if you want, guys. There we go, some more pictures. Just a Mondeo now. This is getting into sort of more modern times, early 2000s. And there's Spas, that's like the ultimate family wagon in it. Galaxy. And then a Mondeo that my dad got crashed into. And yeah, I think this is just about the end of these photos. And yeah, so if you see there, I don't know when this photo is from. Oh yeah, there you go, 2001. So this is the 100E in the back garden. Obviously my dad was sort of halfway through doing up the garden, but yeah, it's always been there, but he did actually have to sell it. Now this is his mate picking it up because he sold it to him, then he brought it back, then he sold it to someone else, and that was the last he saw of it. So not sure if that's still on the road. I should really do a reg check on it, but yeah, this was a couple of pictures of my dad selling it to his mate. My dad had started doing work to it, that's why it's all different colours now. Obviously he needed some panels replacing and whatnot as the years went on. So yeah, it's my dad there. Right, what I've got to show you guys now is some pictures from when I started really getting into cars. All the photos I've just shown you are obviously my parents' old cars. Most of them I don't really remember, but this is sort of where my passion grew from. Now this is a picture of me standing next to Andrew Jordan and Giovanardi. He was a quality driver, but yeah, that was like a VIP experience, if you would, like meet the racing drivers at the British touring cars. That's really what got me into cars in the first place. But yeah, also at that time my dad owned another 100E. Now this was just a massive project. He ripped the engine out. I think he wanted to put a bigger engine in, but just never got round to it. So yeah, that's it there. I do remember this car. Pretty cool. I'd love to own one of these one day. But yeah, keep an eye on that reg as well. We'll get back to that in a minute. These photos are from about, I've got to say, 2006 to 2010. So I was, what, 7 to 11, because I was born in 99. So yeah, this is a picture of a Mark II Fiesta my dad had. I don't think he had this long. This was a bit of a project that he was just willing to sell on. She's got an XR2 wheel on it. But yeah, this is my dad's car, a VXR Safira. This is, yeah, unfortunately what got me into cars, but I say that, I'm not too ashamed of it. And this was his Nuremberg edition Astra VXR. There was only 835 of these made. I could probably waffle on for hours about these, because yeah, when you're a kid you sort of take in bundles of information. But yeah, I love this car, and that's the two together. My dad's Safira VXR and the Astra VXR limited edition. So yeah, they were pretty cool. In the double garage that we've now got some rusty Fords in, and yeah, I always loved that registration, OMG. Now this is a picture of me at the first car show I ever went to. This was in London, I can't remember where, one of the big like NECs probably. But yeah, this is just, I didn't have a clue what I was looking at, to be honest. But yeah, it's just what got me into cars. And some more pictures of my dad's Astra VXR. That's a little picture of me. Don't know if I can turn that around. No. VXR Mitchy boy. It's got Berg spotter on it, but it was actually spelt wrong after someone on VXR online mentioned. It's meant to be B-U-R-G, not B-E-R-G, but it is what it is. So yeah, I used to go around, find out all the numbers of the Bergs, because obviously they were limited edition. There was only 835 made. That's us going up to Scotland. We went to Knockhill for the British Touring Car Championships. So yeah, that's me next to another Berg, obviously. Yes, little stud there. This is Mark II Mitch in his early days. And this was just like, yeah, that was at Blackpool, Pleasure Beach. And this was like the first Astra VXR Nuremberg meet. And that was my little car that I got for my birthday. So yeah, that's the early years. I've got another selection of photos. These were a bit later on. These are sort of 2012, 2013. That's the Graffiti Alley in London. Took the Berg down there, next to the London Eye as well. Pretty cool. Now this is a Nova that my dad used to own. This was sort of just another car again. I think he brought it to sort of do it up and sell it on. Never kept it. These are probably for sale pictures, to be honest. But yeah, pretty cool motor. Probably quite rare now, but yeah, it got sold on eventually. And this is one of his more recent classics, and also the turn into classic Fords again. So it was Vauxhall for quite a few years when I was younger, but then it eventually come back round to the old school Fords again, because my dad's always been a massive Ford nutter. So yeah, this is his Ford Prefect 107E, and yeah, you can just tell it just looks the part. It had a 1.6 crossflow engine in it. These are actually the same location that we took the Nuremberg to. This is in Hertford. And here we go. This, if you remember that plate I was telling you to keep an eye out for, so this is that old Ford Prefect that Dad had, and as you can see, someone's really spent a lot of time on it. We haven't got any other pictures of it, but this is with a chopped roof, so they definitely done a lot of work to it. And yeah, it's looking pretty cool there. That was outside the Ace Cafe, and just some more pictures of my dad's one before he sold it. There we go. It was a pretty clean car. I remember it needed a little bit of paint work, but the paint that someone had put on it was like a custom job, so it was really hard to match. It was just going just under there where the roof meets the rear quarter. So yeah, pretty cool motor though, but got sold on in the end. Now, just before my dad got his 2 Fiestas that he now owns, there was a project underway, and that was this Ford Puma, which had the famous 1.7 engine in it, which Dad had a Mark IV Fiesta van to put this engine in, but it's just a project that never got done. I don't actually have a picture of the Mark IV Fiesta van, but that was pretty rare. It'll be pretty rare now. But yeah, just a project that never got done. There we go, guys. So there's a bit of brief history of what sort of got me into cars. I really enjoyed looking at them photos firsthand and just seeing what cool cars my parents used to own, and then also remembering what got me into cars in the first place. Now, after that Puma and the Mark IV Fiesta van, my dad purchased his Mark I Fiesta, and then he went on to purchase his Mark II Fiesta van, and then I got my Mark II Fiesta, so that's sort of where the passion grew from. And yeah, now it's all old school Fords in our household, and a couple of modern ones too. So I know this wasn't my usual video, but it's a bit more of a chilled out, chatty video for my birthday. I'm not going to be sitting here for hours editing this video. Saying that, I'd be really interested to see some of your guys' old cars, so if you got me on Instagram or Facebook, send me a couple of messages or photos or whatever, and yeah, it'll be really good to have a look and chat about them. So without further ado, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back next week for Herbie's Diner spring opening meet, but for now, until the next one, I'll see you guys later.